David, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
But you asked Shasky what would make him regain faith on Farhan and Coupler. I don't think Coupler is that big of a problem. I mean, he is what he is. The guy was brought in by Farhan to manage his players based on what he felt it was best, based on numbers. I think the fandom's biggest issue is with Farhan. I mean, I don't know if he drafted Logan, but I guess you could say Logan is a really good pitcher, but he's not a superstar. Okay, Tim Lincecum was a superstar. Madison Bumgarner was a superstar. There were pitchers that were superstars. I cannot even mention not even one guy that this guy has drafted that I could call a superstar that is in the major leagues right now. After 6-7 years, honestly, I'm so tired of waiting for this guy to do anything. It's just like waiting for gas to go back to $2.50 a gallon again. It's not going to happen. You already have a sample of what the guy is all about. I don't think he's going to change. Honestly, the only thing that would make me gain faith on Farhan would be him quitting and going to another team. Okay, they need to make a change. They really made a big mistake bringing this guy in. They made a big mistake. The likes of the Niners making Tom Sula the manager. Okay, it's a mistake.
Well, that Tom Sula might be aggressive, but I hear you. Tom Sula might be one of the worst decisions in Bay Area sports history. Here's what I'll say about Farhan. You know where I stand. I don't love the brand of baseball they played. I'm willing to be open at the beginning of the season. I would have already moved on. That's me. But I'm willing to be open at the beginning of the season to see how their brand of baseball adjusts to all of the rules. Secondarily,
how patient are you going to be with the Giants this season? Because I'm looking at the thread between you and
Game 2,
Lubman.
I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, you and Lubman, the thread. Every time I look up, you guys are arguing about the Giants. You guys are arguing about the same thing, by the way. I'm just like, okay, here we go.
He's already lost his patience. Let's be real here.
I have. I told you I have.
Yeah,
but me yelling about Farhan. Me yelling about Farhan on March 6th does what?
Does nothing for me.
That's my point.
Right.
So I'm not trying to just howl at the moon. But here's what I would say. I will give Farhan credit if they can give this kid Casey Schmidt an opportunity to break camp with the big league club and play. I want to see him play on the big league club. What do you have to lose? Right now, I'm looking at their infield. They've got some guy that none of us has ever heard of, some 25-year-old backing up Crawford. I don't even know if he's going to be the dude, okay? Then they really only have Estrada as your other shortstop who's proven, and he's not even a shortstop. He's a second baseman. They have the one third baseman in VR. Who else is going to play third? Wilmer?
888-957-9570.
Play Casey Schmidt.
I'm wondering now, because Casey Schmidt, there's a lot of pressure. I was asking Lubman about Casey Schmidt. How's he doing? And he goes, well, he didn't play this past weekend.
Yeah, he's only had 12 at-bats.
Yeah, why?
Because they have so many split games. Some of the split games and the simulation games don't count for your stats. It's all over the place.
It is all over the place.
Do you know who's leading? I asked you guys this in the break. Do you know who's leading Major League Baseball in the amount of hits in spring training?
You said Matt Duffy. But it's the first week of the season. We can't go crazy over spring training.
2 weeks.
Please.
But there's a 20-year-old right now.
Don't do that to me.
Jordan Walker, 20.
Yeah.
For the Cardinals,
they've got
go
prospects.
Crazy on him because he's got 4 home runs and 9 hits.
He's one of their big prospects. Norman Gorman.
Gorman,
I had him last year. No, I know my prospects in baseball.
Flex.
Trust me.
But that's what I'm saying. They got a 20-year-old in camp.
But you can't go crazy over spring training, and you can't go crazy if they don't bring up Casey Schmidt. We just found out who Casey Schmidt was last September.
Well, he rose. Him and Vaughn Brown rose in the ranks big time last year.
I don't trust in Farhan. What could he do to regain your trust? Farhan and Kapler. Shasky says it's bringing up an everyday player who's under 25.
Who was the last everyday player that they brought up from their system?
Farhan Zaidi?
No, the Giants as a whole.
Everyday player? Joe Panic, probably?
That was 2014.
It was a long time.
9 years ago.
Long time.
Duffy for a small period of time, that's been so long ago. So that's what the whole point of bringing him in was to fix the farm system as well as not lock yourself in to contracts you will regret. He's done that back end. Can he do the front end, which is develop your own talent?
He hasn't done it yet. That's for damn sure. He's not done it yet. Farhan Zaidi and Gabe Kapler and the Giants opened up a Yankee Stadium. Boy, the Giants takes this year is going to be wild. How long until Shasky wants fired? Well, obviously he doesn't want Farhan here in the first place, but when Fleming said that the run has been successful so far,
I laughed. I love Dave Fleming. He knows I love him. And I'm just like, what does that even mean? He's like, well, they didn't lose 100 games a year for 5 straight years, just bottoming out. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, there's some nobility, I guess, on some level of like trying to compete. Like I do get that. Like you're not trying to just completely hollow this thing out. I understand where he's coming from on that end. But on the other end, I'm like, that's how low it's gotten. The 3-time champion Giants, who had a run like no other, who finally became the haves and were the have-nots our whole lives. Now it's just don't suck. That's how low the bar is. Would we say that for the Niners?
No, we wouldn't. By the way, some breaking news on Brock Purdy. Breaking news on Brock Purdy, not to cut you off there. But Michael Silver is reported that Brock Purdy will have surgery on Wednesday for the torn UCL.
Okay.
Wednesday it is. Torn UCL for Brock Purdy. That's according to Michael Silver. Does that change the timeline? Does that change the Niners' direction? Brock Purdy, surgery Wednesday, according to Michael Silver. We'll get right back into it. Let's go to Nick in Berkeley. Nick, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, man. Hey, good morning, y'all.
What's up, Nick?
Let's go, Purdy. Anyways, I just want to say, man, that in America, you know, it's supposed to be baseball is supposed to be America's game, right? But yet we don't let any high school kids leave high school early to go to the minor leagues. Like they have minor leagues for like 14, 15-year-olds in the Dominican. Why don't we do it in America? You want a tight farm system? I grew up with a lot of cats that could have benefited from leaving high school early, but they never got a look because they didn't have grades or they went to junior college or whatever. But let me tell you something, man. There's a lot of talented kids out there that they need to be let go early and go to the minor leagues. I mean, what's his name from Philly had to sue to hit when he was in high school just to go play in the minor leagues. Why would kids have to sue? It's supposed to be America's pastime. Why are they sweating the kids, man?
I don't know, Nick.
Well, the rules are kind of sucky because they can sign a kid at 16 years old from overseas, and if you're an American-born player, you have to go through the process of either you come out after high school or you go to college and you have 3 years from your high school graduation class. I agree. There's a loophole there that needs to be fixed.
Right, no doubt. Nick Berkeley is fired up. You never know what he's fired up about.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was going. I thought Brock
he
Purdy
wanted it to be like a soccer, like overseas, where they have these academies and stuff like that. It's like it's not that big of a deal here. Sorry, it's just not. They live and breathe that stuff overseas. Like that's just what it is.
Well, some teams do have academies. I mean, don't the Giants have their academy?
No, every team,
every
team has some form of an academy, either in Venezuela, Puerto Rico, the Dominican. It depends on the team and what their situation is. Some teams share a team,
Feels like it's looked down upon more here in the United States as opposed to other countries. Because, it's like a dime a dozen. The English Premier League, it's like Chelsea has an academy, all these places. And, like, a guy like Christian Pulisic, he went overseas to train there at a young age. They do, subjects and all this other stuff. But it's just wild how it's just looked, kind of down upon here.
Because it ruins our minor league systems, a.k.a. colleges.
Real quick, I want to